Welcome back, guys, to Team Down TV's coverage of the ACL Online League of Legends tournament, day 2 here, and we are covering Team Invidious versus Apotheosis Olympus. Olympus over there on the blue side. And as I said, my name is Menace, and today I am joined by Adam.
Oh, hey Menace, I am Adam and I will be casting today with you.
Very exciting once again. Yeah, we've just been switching up the casters here at Team Down TV, but we are into the picks and bans. Over there for Apotheosis Olympus, they have banned out Lux, Yorick, and Nunu. For the guys over on in Team Invidious, they've banned out Malphite, Katarina, and Sejuani. Now, I've seen these guys play a fair bit. Now, I know that Saki is fantastic support, as well as Coxley on ADC. I've seen them play a fair bit. They used to be in Drop Bears, some good friends of mine, and they are really good players. So it should be a great match. This is the losers bracket, and this will be the winners of the loser bracket will finally... I've been saying it all day, but I'm very sure that this time, the winners of this match will move on to play the poachers in the grand final. All right, so first few teams have been champions have been locked in. Sorry, Nami being picked up over there for Apotheosis Olympus, and Graves locked in for the guys over on Team Invidious, as well as a Shen. We saw a Shen last game, Artem, and he did fairly well. Even though their team lost, he was doing pretty well in lane.
Yeah, Shen is that really strong split pushing presence in the top lane. He can just sit up there constantly all game and just push on those side lanes that you are not currently sitting in. He forces a member to be up there to defend against him, and if that member doesn't have teleport, then Shen can just teleport down into the team fight and make it a 5v4.
That's for sure. Now, you being an ADC as your main, what is your opinion of Graves?
Graves in lane has very strong burst, especially coupled with someone like Leona or Thresh. Someone that can kind of catch an enemy in that bot lane out of position, and at level 6 you can pretty much 100 to 0 someone. Graves also late game has quite a strong attack speed boost with his quick draw, and he's quite good at kiting with that and his blinding pool to out-duel an AD carry late game.
Right, and you called it, man. Leona is a good matchup with Graves, and Saki is the support for the team, hovering over Leona for that pick. Now, I've seen Saki play very good Nami, I've seen him playing very good Thresh, and as well as Leona, so any of those are very comfortable picks for Saki. But one that's been thrown in the woodwork for Team Invidious, they've locked in Warwick, Artem.
They have, not your usual pick. However, Warwick is very good at locking down a single target. And I expect him to be probably camping a lane mid to late game, or mid to late laning phase, sorry, and just repeatedly trying to get those kills. You'd be looking for probably a bursty mid laner there to go with that Warwick well, so that they can just absolutely annihilate that mid lane and shut them down. Interestingly, from Apotheosis here, they're running a very similar team comp to what they have run previously. We have seen them in one or two of the games that we have streamed, and they do love that Nami Karthus Kayle combination. The Karthus being able to run in under the Kayle ult while Nami ult is going on, and all the enemies are actually knocked up inside that Karthus damage. And after that Kayle ult goes off, he can throw down that Zhonya's as well, giving him up to 5 seconds invulnerability while that Defile goes off late game, which is absolutely brutal to a team.
For sure, Tidal Wave is huge, and Nautilus in the jungle early on is probably going to make his presence a little bit better known than Warwick. Warwick is fairly weak until level 6, until you can get his ultimate and go in there, lock someone down. Now, all that's left is a mid lane pick from the guys at Team Invidious. And they're hovering over Twisted Fate right now, so it's a possible pick for him. Kennen as well, so just maybe trolling. There we go, Morgana at the last second going to be locked in. Yes, locked in Morgana. So that's a really interesting lineup, I think, Artem. There's some old school champs there.
There are indeed. We haven't seen the Morgana-Warwick combination in quite a while. The Morgana being a fairly good combat to the playstyle of Karthus, where you just run in, as well as the Nautilus and Kayle who want to be in fairly close. she can shield herself and stop that wave from actually knocking her up, and kind of just sit in the middle and force Apotheosis Gaming to kind of split up or be stunned by her ultimate.
Yeah, so they have locked in, as you said, Karthus for their mid lane, and Greg Owens has been playing a really great Karthus today, so I'd expect to see some awesome work coming out from him, and a lot of support for these teams. Go Saki. Saki's a pretty out there in the community, dude. He's fairly well known. Everyone knows Saki, so a little bit of fan base, a few fanboys for the Saki. But Apotheosis Olympus, man, that last game, they showed some really good form, and I think Invidious are going to have a really tough time trying to get those guys.
A very interesting pickup also by Apotheosis here is the Kayle pick to counter the Warwick. When Warwick actually ults someone, Kayle will be able to ult on top of that person, and any burst that Invidious actually tries to lay down on that person while they are Warwick ulted will be negated. The Kayle ult actually lasting longer than the Warwick ult at late game.
Well, there you go. Counter pick themselves, I guess. Kayle has been very strong. Jones in jail, we saw him play that earlier on in the day, and he's done a very good job of playing Kayle as well. Sorry, I said Coxley was the ADC before. It's actually Ouija, the Graves ADC there. So, yeah, Graves, Leona bot lane versus Nami and Misfortune. What are your thoughts on those ones, Artem?
Nami and Misfortune is a very pokey lane comp in bottom. They kind of want to knock you up with the bubble, trade with you a bit, and then back off. Whereas Graves, Leona, once they get a hold of you, especially past level 6, they will just tear you to shreds. If that Leona gets on top of them, they're pretty much dead. As you can see, Josh Hong has actually picked up a cleanse here to cleanse that Leona stun so that he can actually get out and in a position that he can put down his ultimate. The Nami ultimate combos very, very well with the MF ultimate also. The Nami ultimate knocks everyone up and will keep them slowed inside that MF ultimate for as long as she can do damage.
For sure, but cleanse means that, you know, Graves' barrier is something that Misfortune is going to have to keep in mind, that Graves can pop that barrier and easily win out on those trades, especially if they're starting to get very low and do get aggressive. I'm just really interested to see this Morgana and Warwick strategy coming out. I guess they've sort of come into this with a state of like a set lot of champions. They've gone, all right, let's try this composition and see how it goes. I guess they would have practiced this before, but Stand United from Shen could really help out with Warwick. You could get the Warwick ultimate down. Everyone starts attacking Warwick, just Stand United on top of him. It could be a really good composition and work really well if they use it to effect. Now, no teleports, only teleport coming out for Greg Owens, so they haven't gone really too hard into those summoners like they did last game with the teleports and a lot of map presence coming out. So we are almost done into the delay time, guys. For those of you just joining us, my name is Menace. I'm joined by Artem. This is Team Down TV's coverage of the ACL Online League of Legends tournament. It's day 2. We are into the semi-finals. The winner of this will go on to verse the Poachers in the grand final, which is a best of 3. And there we are heading into the skin battle right now. So what about level 1 power, Artem? What do you think? We're going to see any invades, or do you think it's going to be just defended up time?
I actually would expect some early aggression from these teams here. The Nami bubble is very, very good at catching people out, and the Karthus Skittle does do quite a lot of damage in combination with the MF double up. So I would be looking for a possible invade here from Apotheosis.
Yeah, that's right. There's get a knock up from Nami. It could be the end of you at level 1, followed by a dredge line from Nautilus. There's not too much hard CC. You got Morgana, she's a bit of a stun as well as Leona, but I think in terms of power at level 1, Apotheosis Olympus really have the upper hand here, and they will probably look to invade, whereas Invidious are going to just try and defend as best they can, throw a few wards out. Ghostblade Morgana, that's a really nice skin. And there's a TPA Shen, he's also got those 2... I don't know what you call those things. Do you know what they called, Artem? Clackers or something?
I don't know. Batten, maybe? Plastic, one of those plastic bats that you get at carnivals, I guess. But yeah, the Ghost Bride Morgana, sorry, actually only coming out in the last few days. It'll be interesting to see it in game. I haven't actually seen it yet. As we do go into game now.
All right, they're going to see some fairly standard items coming out. Hunter's Machete for all the junglers. Doran's Ring on Morgana, as well as a couple of pots. And Shen, is Shen around or is he going AFK? Oh, no, there he is. Got himself a rejuve bead and a few pots. So there's a few wards there. Kale's got herself a ward as well as Karthus and Nami. So he'll probably chuck that around mid lane. How many wards has Karthus picked up? Just the one, as well as a crystalline flask and a health pot.
Yes, the Doran's Blade actually getting quite a lot of love this tournament with the new updates to it. It now only costing 400 gold and giving slightly less health and mana regeneration. We have seen it quite common on quite a lot of mids this game. Also to note, Shen has actually picked up 2 rejuvenation beads instead of the normal one, meaning he can't actually take a ward, but he will have more regeneration in lane, and that's kind of a sign they're looking to 2v1
bot lane
with that
now though.
Shen.
Flash from Josh Hong having to get away from that one. I don't know, he was a little bit late on the reaction time there, maybe looking elsewhere on the map. And as predicted, Artem, all 5 members for the Invidious trying to invade this one up.
Yes, they have actually been spotted by a ward while walking into their Apotheosis. Have not got vision of them currently, but they do know they're in their red buff, and it'll be interesting to see whether Apotheosis actually try to fight them at their red buff or attempt to... No, it does look like they are invading Invidious's own red buff, and they're happy to just trade buffs there.
Alright, so those things that Shen has are thunder sticks apparently. I'm not sure, or fiddlesticks. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so that Morgana skin looks really nice though. I must comment on that. It does change her dark binding though. So you won't be seeing that in any tournaments anytime soon, like LCS. And they're going to take away the red buff. Josh Hong over there. He throws out the slow. Does get vision, but they're just going to steal this red buff away. Nautilus taking red buff. So just trading back and forth.
It looks like they're actually just a little bit of a skirmish and poke here while bot lane are coming into lane. The dual rejuvenation beads on Shen also a sign that he is looking to get a Warmogs at some stage in this game, or else waste quite a bit of money.
Yeah, 2 rejuve beads. He's going straight for, I reckon he's going to try and rush a Warmogs just to keep him alive up in lane. And there goes a big knock up onto Ouija on that Graves, taking a little bit of poke, but no back up there from Misfortune, just playing it safe, trying to keep him fairly low.
Yes, another interesting note about the Warwick ganks on the Morgana. When Warwick ultimates, if Morgana actually uses her ultimate at the same time, the
Dredgel on top lane now, just missing Shen dashing away from that one. Yeah, sorry, continue on, Adam.
Yeah, the stun from Morgana is pretty much guaranteed to hit when the Warwick ultimate finishes, so they have a guaranteed about 3.5 seconds of crowd control there.
Oh, bot lane, Leona landing a nice stun onto Misfortune. Backing up there, Ouija does a fair bit of burst, and buckshot used on top of Josh Hong. I'm not going to get a kill, but top lane, Invid Coxley, there's a flash, and first blood ignite will go and execute from Kale. That's unfortunate.
Well, it doesn't actually give any gold to send, so I think they will actually be happy with that trade, as Nautilus will just kill some of the farm under the tower, and he does run into Warwick, but they just say hello and keep walking on their respective ways as Warwick just clears the farm off the tower for Shen there.
Definitely worth the trade for Kale's execute. She did burst both of her summoners, but Coxley doesn't have any summoners burned at all, so he's still got his ghost as well as the ignite. But yeah, didn't actually get a kill onto Kale. I guess if he popped the ignite, he would have got it in the end.
Yes. Oh, as we see it engage in the bot lane.
Yeah, Leona going down, getting a stun onto Josh Hong. He exhausts her. Exhaust onto Graves. Flash from Saki, tries to escape that one. There is a ward in the brush. Will they pick up the kill? Morgana getting engaged on though from Nautilus. A gank from him. Graves in a bit of trouble. Bot lane is a little bit caught out, but Saki on that Leona is going to stick around. They're both going to head back.
Yes, another note about in that top lane, that early fight, when Shen
Oh, wow,
actually...
there's a knock up on the Graves in bot lane now. As he was trying to be. Here comes Nautilus, flashes over the wall. There's a barrier bait. Will Nautilus get a kill? No, he doesn't. He's just executed onto Misfortune. That's 2 executes, and Nautilus picking up the kill, but Graves taking down that Nautilus.
So many executes coming out here from Apotheosis. Tower diving very, very early as we see the interesting particle effects actually coming out from the Ghost Bride Morgana there. It does look very, very different.
Yeah, it is a bit different. Hashtag Saki lives, that's for sure. He survived that one with a slither of health, getting away from the Nautilus, and Misfortune tanking the tower, getting executed. There's 2 executes now for the guys on Apotheosis Olympus.
I thought it was Saki that died, was it?
Nope, Saki lives. Saki lived that one.
Oh
no, sorry, no, he didn't.
Yeah, no,
Saki
did die under the tower, and
Graves lived.
These comments are lying to you.
Gah, it's my bad. I thought he survived. It was Graves that actually died.
Yeah. All good.
Yeah, right. All good now. So Kale going straight for that Nash's Tooth. Well, she's gone for the start of the Nash's Tooth, picking up 2 daggers with that extra attack speed. Going to be rushing that one. She's probably going to need maybe, she could have gone AD a little bit against Coxley because he's going to be building a fair bit of health. And bot lane now, though, Nautilus is in the area. There's a double knock up onto both Saki as well as Graves. Although Nautilus's Dread Line hit the wall and didn't pick up on Saki. Saki, the good guy, is just going to sacrifice himself and run towards Dragon. And wow, someone flashed there?
A little bit of communication errors there, possibly from Apotheosis. The Requiem actually coming out when it wasn't needed, and they did pick up the kill anyway. But interesting thing about the Kayle in the top lane, when she does auto attack, when she uses those proc auto attacks on E, Leandre's actually procs, as we see her going in on Shen here, just trading slightly, Shen ghosting to get away. Kayle does have her ultimate there, so if Shen had stayed and fought, Kayle had that second life opportunity as well as Ignite, so Shen probably would have died. A good choice by him there to back off.
Yeah, he was falling very low, taking a few minions as well as Kayle. She can do a fair bit of damage right now. And are we going to see maybe a bit of tower pushing from this bot lane? There are no junglers in sight. A fair bit of warding from the Nami right now, so they've got plenty of vision around this bot river, and they're feeling pretty safe. We'll go up there by the red buff. We do see Nautilus is going to take away the red one, but here comes Morgana as well. She is level 6. She does throw out the ultimate. This could be big trouble for both of these guys. They do try and split, but the Morgana ultimate does land on both of them. There goes Nautilus, and I think Kayle is going to follow. Good work from the Invidious guys.
Very good job there by Invidious to just notice that they left that lane, and they positioned perfectly just outside the red buff and called Morgana up, so that once they got the red buff, or when they were taking it, they just collapsed in on them. And they also knew that the Karthus ult was down, and that extra burst of damage wouldn't be coming in.
Alright, now Warwick going to do a little bit of counter jungling, heading over towards that blue buff. Nautilus will be en route, but I think that it's going to be gone just before he can. Karthus is in the area. There is no sight from either of them. There is the ward down. He doesn't actually spot. Yeah, he does spot. He knows that Warwick is there, and Warwick just safely takes away that blue buff.
Karthus evidently feeling that he couldn't duel with that Warwick at this stage in the game, and deciding to just let him have it. I would expect that, seeing as they just lost their blue buff there, Nautilus, Karthus, and probably the bot lane of Apotheosis will be looking to actually steal away the blue buff from Invidious here, so as Karthus doesn't lose his advantage in lane. Karthus, being very, very mana hungry, especially early game, does need that blue buff to thrive.
Doesn't look like Apotheosis Olympus are going to answer that one. Warwick is heading towards bot lane. He doesn't go towards his blue, so his blue is up. Is Morgana going to move down and possibly pick that one up? He's looking to try and get a kill onto Josh Hong. There's a Q from Saki, but it does miss. Misfortune just dodging that one quite easily. Here comes the engage from Leona. Exhaust onto Rhapsody, forces out the flash. They know what's coming. Warwick has been spotted, so he'll just head back up towards his blue in the river.
Yes, blue side, Apotheosis having good vision of Warwick here, knowing exactly what he's doing. They know he's in the area, so they but they do look like they are actually trying to force a fight here at bottom. You can see the pings go out, and Nautilus actually camping in that bottom bush. Invidious doesn't actually have any vision of what is going on here, so if Warwick does come down for another gank like he does seem to be doing now, there is a chance that they could get caught out here.
Yeah, it's going to be a team fight for sure. I'm not sure if Saki knows what's going on. Nautilus is there. They're going to start to engage. It's going to be a 3 versus 3 fight. There's an ultimate straight onto Rhapsody. Rhapsody falls very low. Tidal Wave does come out. Here comes the Karthus ulti, though. Saki falls to Misfortune. Avicii gets the dredge lined at the back there. Graves is trying to be desperately. So a 1-for-1 trade. Support for support. But here comes Morgana. Will she pick up a kill? I don't think so. Karthus is just going to push away this mid lane while she's out.
Very nice work there by Graves. Once they left him alone to the Karthus Requiem, he actually still had his barrier, and he just barriered that damage and kind of walked out and stayed safe. If he hadn't had barrier up at that stage, like I assume Apotheosis thought, he would have gone down to the Karthus, making it a 2v1 trade.
Yeah, Ouija forced to try and defend this turret, use his buckshot to keep those waves down, and he's gonna have to try and defend it from Josh Hong, who's freely CSing right now. Leona is coming back to lane, but she's not gonna be able to do too much. Nami is there as well. So let's have a quick look at the items, Exor. There's plenty of big ticket items started to be built now. Catalyst on Karthus. He's also got himself a tier, so it won't be long before he does get a Rod of Ages.
Yes, and the AD carries are both sitting on a large sum of gold. MF herself has 2,400 gold just sitting in that bank, enough to buy a straight out Bloodthirster, as she just trades here in bot lane, and Graves and Leona back off.
Yeah, force a flash out from Graves. Ashes of safety trying to be at the back of the tower. Coxley now taking a fair bit of damage from drones in jail up on that Kale. Just so slow, and the minions pounding down on him, but he's already got himself a Giant's Belt as well as a Ruby Crystal. There's so much health on that Shen.
As Leona goes in,
Saki goes right in. There's the Solar Flare over the top onto Josh Hong. Josh Hong taking so much damage. Is Warwick going to chase him down? Morgana is in their area as well. Nautilus is going to be a little bit too late. Will they be able to pick up a kill? There's the Dark Binding straight onto Rhapsody. Rhapsody's going to fall down as well. So a nice kill. A double kill for Morgana. There it is.
Oh, red team taking advantage of the fact that they saw Nautilus with that ward, and he has actually headed up to the mid lane in an attempt to get the mid tower to trade with the dragon that they know Invidious is going to grab here. Morgana, however, is actually heading up to the mid lane in an attempt to stop this push while the rest of her team goes for dragon.
Yeah, good work from Invidious to pick up 2 kills. They got defended their mid tower and got themselves a dragon. That's going to put themselves ahead. They are now 1,000 gold ahead of the guys on Apotheosis Olympus.
Yes, and we do see MF going back, getting that Bloodthirster, as well as the Nash's Tooth pick up on Kale. Nash's Tooth having the new passive now since the last patch, where it does do a percentage of your magic damage as extra damage on every single auto attack. Yeah,
that makes Kale a pretty strong pick with that Nash's Tooth. Can do so much damage. Just imagine if you got a Rabdons on top of that, just percentage of percentage. It'd be a lot of damage coming out from Kale. But be interesting to see what he builds next. Probably going to get himself some Sork boots, as seeing as he hasn't even got tier 1 boots at this stage, and neither does Shen, so a fairly slow top team. There's a nice Dark Binding onto Gregones in the mid lane. Here comes the ultimate down onto him. Karthus is going for very low, and I think it's going to be a rampage for Wiz, doing very well mid lane.
Yes, while that Karthus flash is down, he actually has no way to escape from that Morgana binding. Morgana can just shield herself and walk through that wall, and as we saw there, Morgana has plenty of burst, being 4-0 at the moment, just to be able to dominate that Karthus.
Bot lane now feeling a lot of pressure from Misfortune as well as Nami. Misfortune still sitting on her Bloodthirster. She just got, it's half stacked, so she's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Still no boots onto her, and Graves is not far off finishing his own Bloodthirster.
Yes, as we do see in the top lane, Kale has actually finally pushed that turret against Shen, and Shen, the downside of starting with Warmogs on Shen is that you don't actually have that much damage to push the wave. With the Sunfire Cape, Shen can split push really effectively, but while he only has Warmogs, as we do see the bubble going down,
And Warwick jumps in straight onto Rhapsody. Solar Flare at the back, but a huge bullet time. Too much burst though. Nami is gone. Avesty on a killing spree now.
Yes, this Warwick pick doing wonders bot lane with the aggression that Leona can output. Leona just jumps on them, and before they even see the Warwick, they're CC'd, and Warwick just runs in, CC's them, and if they do CC Nami, there's nothing that Apotheosis Gaming can actually do to stop that.
Yeah, Apotheosis, Olympus, they're falling a little bit behind now. It is 4 to 8 kills in favor of Team Invidious over there on the red side. If you are just joining us, my name is Menace. It's the Team Down TV's coverage of the ACL tournament, day 2, and we are in the semi-finals. Winner of this will go on into the finals versus the Poachers, so it's pretty good.
And we do see the Karthus actually moving into the top lane now. Karthus having the teleport so that he can sit in top lane with Shen here and have no fear that he will miss out on the team fight. The late game Karthus actually, I feel, benefiting more from that farm than the Shen will. The Karthus, once he goes into the late game mode, getting Zhonyas and probably Rabadons and all of that AP damage, he will just wreck face in combination with the Nami ult.
That is for sure. The tier, though, I reckon he's going to go straight for the Seraph's Embrace. Here goes Saki going very hard. 1 versus 3, Solar Flare on top. He's going to take a lot of damage, trying very hard to defend this tower. He's forced to flash out. Here comes the ultimate from Shen on top. The tower does eventually fall. Here goes the tidal wave, knocking up Warwick mid-ulti. Ulti Karthus as well comes in. Shen picks up a kill onto Nautilus. Here comes the ultimate from Morgana, taking out Nami. And wow, that was a huge team fight. 3 members for 0 for Team Invidious. Well played.
All members of Invidious actually coming down to defend that. Morgana walking down from mid lane, Shen teleporting in, and Karthus, meanwhile, his teleport was either... No, I think he did try and teleport there, and he actually cancelled it, seeing that the fight was lost, and decided to continue in an attempt to take down the top turret in response.
Yeah, the guys in chat saying Warwick Davies is pronounced Warwick. Yeah, that's why I say it. Warwick Davies is spelled the same way Warwick, so I say Warwick. Warwick doesn't sound right. Alright, top lane now though. Shen getting engaged on by both Kale and Karthus. They're actually going to have to be from that one because here comes Morgana around the back. Team Invidia is doing really well. This Season 1 Morgana and Warwick strat's working out for them.
Indeed, the Morgana just being in every fight at the moment. Wherever a fight breaks out, she's always there to clean up. With her ultimate, she just runs in the back while they're low and just ultimates them, so they either have to run sideways, run into her team, or just get stunned and die.
Yeah, doing work. Morgana doing lots of work. She's got herself the Zhonya's Hourglass already. She picked it up quite some time ago, as well as the Sork Boots. So tons of AP onto her. Saki, though, could be in a bit of trouble here. He has been spotted by a ward. Nami... Well, sorry, he's been spotted by Nami, so yeah.
Yes, just backing off there, spamming the laugh a bit at Nami, teasing the fact that she won't be able to kill that pink ward. Another testament to how well Morgana is actually roaming is the fact that she is 5-0-2 at this point in the game, despite the fact that her lane opponent only actually has 1 death. So across the map, apart from that, she has actually participated in 6 kills on the lane opponents of her team. So doing work, getting her teammates fed, and that gives across the map a large advantage.
Alright, they started Dragon. Will they be able to take this away? No vision. There's a Warwick ultimate straight down on top of Nautilus. So much damage. Bullet time across the top, though. Followed up by a tidal wave. There is the Zhonya's Hourglass by his Wiz. Doesn't negate the damage from Karthus, but the knock-up and too much burst damage gets a shutdown for Kale. That's going to be quite devastating. Up in top lane, now Karthus is just going toe-to-toe with Shen, and it's not going to be too much.
Yeah, as we said at the start of the game, that KO ult coming down on the Nautilus, who was the target of the Warwick ult there, just negating the final damage.
Oh wow, Warwick going in the middle of all of them doing the Dragon, gives a shutdown goal, so a little bit of a mistake there. Wasn't able to pick up the Dragon, and it was definitely not worth it.
Yes, as we see Shen just chasing the Karthus going top lane. He does look like he's going to walk away here. The Karthus not yet being able to duel the Shen, however, not weak enough so that he will actually die to him.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this is where it's going to be very hard for Invidious. If they start losing now, they're going to be facing a very tough late game team over on the Olympus side. They have got Kale, Misfortune, as well as the stacking AP from Karthus. Very late game orientated champions, and I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to come back if they start losing right now. Invidious have that early game presence. I mean, you've got Graves, he's fairly good late game, but not really going to compare too much to the team fighting capability of Misfortune.
Very true. Apotheosis also wants to be looking for engages in tight corridors, probably in the jungle or near towers in the lane. If they can actually lock Invidious into a small area, that Karthus Nami MF combination will just absolutely decimate Invidious. As we do see Karthus just sitting in the top lane against the Shen. His teleport is now up along with the Shen ult, so they will be able to both join the fight, though at the moment they're just currently sitting in the top lane waiting for an engage to break out.
There's a knock up onto Morgana under that second tier turret. There's a standalone 10 United from Shen, gets the ultimate down and bursts down Misfortune so quickly. A good engage from Team Invidious. There's the bind onto Drones in Jail. Drones in Jail throwing out his ultimate. They're going to have to wait this one out. There's another kill. Nautilus falls down. And we see Kale as well. That is almost an ace. Karthus not even being in that fight.
No, the advantage of Shen over Karthus is that Karthus can't actually teleport to champions, whereas Shen can. So Karthus had to teleport to a ward at the side of the battle there. So by the time the fight actually got underway, Karthus was nowhere to be seen, and there were 3 members of his team dead before he even got in.
Yeah, that was one unfortunate positioning, and good work from Team Invidious to take advantage of that Warwick just engaging on top of that one. And as I said, there was the ultimate from Shen on top of the ultimate from Warwick, being able to capitalize on that, keeping Warwick alive long enough to get out the lockdown as well as the damage.
Yes, red team Invidious now just backing off to push all their lanes up, keeping up the pressure. Well, they didn't actually get an inhib there, so their lanes won't be auto-pushing. They send the Shen back top in an attempt to get the top turret, which has actually been held off so far. That's very impressive against a Shen lane. Normally you will see Shen, probably at least by 23 minutes, having that top turret down against him. But the Karthus sitting up there has so much wave clear that he really hasn't even been able to get into that.
Yeah, as well as Kale earlier on. So yeah, they've done a pretty good job defending it. Kale is a good pusher as well as Karthus pings out and wards around Baron. It's a little bit too early. A bit of poke onto Kale from Morgana. Does land that Dark Binding, but not going to follow it up too much. Shen's got a huge wave top. There's not many members from Apotheosis Olympus around to defend that one. And how low is that turret? It's at full health, so that wave's not going to do too much, especially since Karthus is just going to come in and clear it all out.
Yes, Shen ult will also be up before that Karthus teleport. So by the time the Shen ult is almost up, I will look to see Invidious actually attempting to push out a lane or cause a fight again, probably in one of the bottom 2 lanes or even at Dragon. They'll be looking to, while that Karthus teleport is down, force a fight where either Shen split pushes by himself and gets that turret, or they fight 4v5 without their main damage source.
That backing animation on Morgana, that's awesome. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounded really good. Yeah, Invidious is going to be looking to get another really good engage off and try to get another team fight, possibly go do Baron. I know it's a little bit early for Baron, but they might even go and try and get themselves a nice and early inhibitor. If they do catch someone out right now, there's big trouble over there for Apotheosis Olympus, but they're trying their hardest to ride this one out to the late game, get their Karthus nice and fat, get Kale fed, get a lot of ability power damage, and interestingly enough, I haven't seen any items in the way of runic bulwarks coming out.
We can see the Nami
Sorry
has...
for, I mean for
Oh,
Invidious, my bad.
for Invidious, no.
Yeah.
I guess they're not too scared of that combination, though it looks like Leona is heading towards a locket here, but Shen or Warwick, neither of them have actually picked up that bulwark, which is an interesting choice, because the majority of that AoE damage is magic damage, so that would benefit them greatly in the team fights. I would expect to see one of their members actually pulling that out soon, as well as that locket coming out of Leona.
I mean, four out of the 5 members of Apotheosis Olympus are doing ability power damage, so an aura like the Runic Bulwark would be a great pickup defensively, especially in the team fights. But they've been doing so well so far without it, so I'm not going to question it too hard. And Dragon is up and looks like it's going to be the next team fight item.
Yes, indeed. And just looking down at the rest of the items that are completed on the map, Morgana actually having completed that Zonya's and the Abyssal Scepter, as well as heading towards a Rabadon's, as we see Nautilus looking for an engage here.
Graves is a bit far away though, and Shen is up in top. Will he throw the ultimate down? There's a huge bullet time over the top. Nami does fall. Solar Flare at the back. Warrior picks up a kill onto Misfortune. Nautilus taking out Leona though, and at the back, double kill for Misfortune. Here comes the ultimate from Karthus. Karthus picks up a kill onto Warwick, but is it going to be enough? No, Kayla is the only one left alive. Shen is going to get a nice taunt onto her. Graves is there. So much damage from Shen. Wow, and there is an ace for Team Invidious. Well played.
Yes, the combination from Apotheosis works so that they kind of all group in a very, very small area. And the Morgana pick almost directly counters that, because she just ultimate binds them all, as you saw in that fight. And they have to either split up or get bursted and stunned out, as we saw there. Apotheosis actually winning out the early part of that team fight, actually getting an early kill, but once the Morgana and the Shen arrived to just split them up and stun and damage, and Graves arrived in the back, it was all over for Apotheosis.
Yeah, those Olympus did really luck out there. They lost them. They got an ace for Invidious. Got an ace. They got Dragon. They got 2 turrets out of it. I think it may have been top lane fell to minions, and then they went down and got themselves a 2nd tier turret. So you know, a lot of objectives and gold going into Team Invidious. Sunfire Cape being picked up by Shen, and as well as a Frozen Heart on Warwick, which is a great choice against the Misfortune. But I still think Runic Bulwark is going to be one of the items they'll be looking at next.
Yes, the Frozen Heart giving cooldown reduction and mana to Warwick, which is both invaluable. And it's also affecting the Kale as well as the Misfortune. Misfortune attacks, does have the attack speed buff, and the 20% decrease will counter that attack speed buff, and she doesn't actually have any attack speed items, so her auto attacks will be very, very slow. The Kale also, she uses those auto attacks with the build she's currently going to deal the majority of her damage, and very, very nice pick up there by Warwick in general to counter 2 of their main damage sources.
Yeah, that's a really good item. He's got himself a Spirit's Visage, so he's very tanky. Can take a lot of damage as well as regen so quickly. The extra heals from his Q will be helping immensely. Shen is doing his thing, split pushing top lane. Like he said, now that he's got his Sunfire Cape as well as a Wit's End, he is just pushing like a beast. And looks like everyone wants to go and get this top turret.
Yes, they are. And about the cooldown reduction on Warwick also. He now has max cooldown reduction, which means even with a level 2 ultimate, that ult is on a 50-second cooldown. So every 50 seconds, they have that ability to just catch out one of the members of Apotheosis, as it looks like they're actually grouping in this bush, attempt to scare them into thinking they're at Baron, but...
No, they do sort of know that there is a tidal wave over the top as well. There's a bullet time, but it doesn't do enough damage. Greg Owens is in the back, trying to doing as much damage as he can. Stand United coming down onto Warwick. And Warwick is just standing there. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he's disconnected. And a double kill for Graves. Yeah, it looks like Warwick is disconnected.
Yeah, Warwick actually just freezing in the middle of that fight and disconnecting, it seems. Yes, the pause coming out and the DCs being called into chat. We will just be waiting on Warwick here. A little bit of a disadvantage there coming in for Invidious, but they still came out of that team fight 3-1 despite that. And Warwick actually living somehow. I think the combined effort of his teammates to keep him alive through that. As we do see on the pause screen, MF here running up the mid lane onto this Graves. MF still having her strut active, you can see by the love hearts. So you would expect she would be able to kill Graves here and actually turn this fight into a 3-4-2.
All right, so hopefully it won't be too long before Graves comes back. So we'll just cut to a little bit of music while we're in this pause.
Some of those wild strawberries, wild strawberries. Pick 'em up, come pick 'em up, 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 yeah, pick 'em up, come pick 'em up. Some of those wild strawberries. I'd rather go and pick some of those wild strawberries. Wild strawberries. Pick 'em up. Come pick 'em up. Pick 'em up. Come pick 'em up. Pick 'em up. Come pick 'em up. Pick 'em up. Come pick 'em up, yeah, pick 'em up. Yeah.
Oh, we are back, guys. Warwick has reconnected. Misfortune, the Q off onto Graves. He's going to slowly get away from that one with just a little bit of health. And it was a good team fight from Invidious. Now Cal getting dark blinded at the back there. She throws down her ultimate, and Misfortune being taunted by Shen. There's a nice Zhonya's as well from Morgana. And I think it's going to be the death of Kale. There we go. Unstoppable. Coxley's going to fall, though. Gets a shutdown. And that's a bit of extra gold for Misfortune.
Yeah, overall that team fight actually coming out 4 for 3 there. With Graves and Morgana both surviving as MF. No, Morgana running away from MF there. But Karthus actually teleporting up to the Baron in an attempt to catch Morgana.
Oh wow, Morgana throws a nice dark binding and escapes that one narrowly.
Coming out there, Karthus moving at the speed of light. As we do seeing the pings from red team coming out on Baron. They don't actually have any vision, but Leona goes over and checks that out. And both teams just back off here. As a result of that fight, Graves, who is now 6-0 and 10, has actually picked himself up a Last Whisper, a Phantom Dancer, and a Bloodthirster. That combination being the item threshold on Graves that he actually needs to just start doing work. There isn't too much armor on the team of Apotheosis, so Graves is just going to be going through them with that burst, and as well, if he can couple that with the Leona burst and get the Sunfire procs on each one of his skills, he will just absolutely start shredding some of the Scream members of Apotheosis.
That is for sure. There's some really good pickups. People were talking about that Frozen Heart. We were talking about it before. It's a really good pickup, and you can see now Emblem of Valor onto Warwick. So he has gone and he started on that Runic Bulwark. So yeah, won't be long before we see that one coming out, and just more magic resist and armor for the guys over on Invidious, who are now up 2-1 kills, so 24-12, as well as 6-3 turrets. They're doing very good right now.
Yeah, they're in a very, very commanding lead. They have so much map presence. All the turrets outside the base actually down at the moment for Apotheosis. So they don't have that map vision and just presence. The only vision they will get is from those wards. And that means that they're really scared to actually venture past the river here, as you can see. They don't actually want to leave the safety of their turrets, especially with Invidious actually having a 7k gold lead at the moment.
Alright, they are poking around Baron right now. Will we see an attempt, or is this just a bait? They might try and do the same thing they did in that previous team fight. Sit in the brush. There is a blue ward, though. I think they do know that the blue ward is there. This is a fake Baron. There is no vision for Apotheosis Olympus, so they are walking straight over the top. Does the Dark Binding land onto Karthus? There's a Solar Flare as well. They're looking to engage. Misfortune throws a bullet time over, not really hitting anybody, and so much AoE damage. Wiz throwing that last second. Zonya's out. Greg Owens does fall to Kale, but at the back, Leona picking up a kill onto Nautilus. Karthus falls, as well as Misfortune, and there is a double kill for Graves. No, the only one left. This might be an ace. We'll have to see if Shen can get a taunt off. She flashes over the wall, and it will not be an ace, but definitely going to be some big objectives coming out.
Really nice Dark Binding there to Morgana to actually catch out that Karthus and separate him, as we see Invidious heading towards an inhibitor here instead of the Baron, looking to gain the pressure that an inhibitor gives you when you actually take it down. The super creeps spawning, and that will allow them an easy Baron once they get back to base, heal up, and start that vision battle again around Baron.
There it is. There goes the inhibitor falling for Team Invidious. They are really ahead right now. It's going to be very hard for Apotheosis to come back from this one. Baron will be the next thing. I think Invidious will be having to head towards and possibly take it away and finish the game. But if, you know, a good team fight from the guys over on Olympus, if they do pull out a few kills, maybe catch a few people out, they could turn it around. But the amount of AoE from Team Invidious is just too high.
Yes, if they could actually catch that Morgana out and get her out of the team fight, I feel like they would have enough of an advantage to actually win a team fight. However, the Morgana does have that black shield as well as the Zhonya's, and her positioning this game has been immaculate, as we see them starting on Baron.
Yeah, as predicted, they are going to try and take out Baron. It's going to be a team fight. Misfortune is way in the bot lane. It's going to take her quite some time. There's a dredge line onto Leona. She's so tanky right now. And there is the Baron has fallen to Warwick. Flash over the wall. Graves is at the back being pounded on by the Nautilus. He flashes over the wall, but there is Kale found on top of him, and I think there we go. Warwick eventually gets a kill down onto Karthus. Nautilus picks up a kill onto the Leona, but is big trouble for Apotheosis. Olympus.
Yes, Invidious just pushing down the middle here with their super creeps, and the GG's coming in chat. It looks like Invidious is actually attempting to end out the game here as they push directly onto the Nexus turrets and waiting for the creeps. They are going to go down very, very fast with that Warwick buff, and it looks to be GG here, Menace.
Wow, so much damage and attack speed from that Graves. Goodbye, GG. Well played, the team Invidious. They're going to move on to the grand final between the poachers and themselves. So make sure you guys stick around. This Team Down TV's coverage of the ACL League of Legends online tournament. My name is Menace, joined by Artem. Please stick around for the next game, which is the grand final best of 3.